Why your leadership is your employer brand. It's easy to assume that employer branding concerns polished job ads and well-designed careers pages. And yes, those things matter, but they're not what today's talent is really judging you on. The truth is, your strongest asset, or your most significant liability, in attracting and retaining talent isn't your benefits package or hybrid working policy. It's your leadership. When candidates research where to work, they dig far deeper than your website. They're looking at how your leaders behave and what they say on LinkedIn, whether they promote fairly, and how they show up for their teams. Your employer brand isn't just what you say, it's what your leaders do consistently. So let's stop pretending this is a comms exercise. This is about culture, visibility, values, and credibility. And that means starting at the top. Candidates are watching, and they're not fooled. It used to be that companies could write lofty statements about culture and purpose and get away with it. Not anymore. People want the receipts, and they'll find them on employee review sites, social media feeds, interview experiences, or via your people out in the world. Candidates will notice if your leaders are invisible, are inconsistent, or only show up when things go wrong. Similarly, if your leadership team embodies these values, communicates clearly, and prioritizes people-first thinking, you will immediately attract talent that can make a significant impact. What candidates actually want to see. Let's strip away the noise. Candidates aren't asking for perfection. They're looking for honesty, credibility, and evidence that your leadership team is committed to building a great place to work. Here's what that looks like in action. Clear direction and values. Candidates want to understand what your company stands for and see leaders live those values in everyday decisions. Genuine inclusion. It's not enough to say, we value diversity. They want to see inclusive behaviors at the top. Diverse panels, fair hiring, open conversations, and a culture of belonging that's not just performative. Progression with substance. Ambitious people don't just want a job, they want growth. Leaders who invest in learning, coaching, and visible career pathways send a clear message. We'll help you succeed. Healthy balance. People want to thrive at work and still have a life. When leaders model balance, respecting boundaries, taking time off, and not rewarding burnout, they create safe, sustainable cultures. Purpose beyond profit. Especially in today's climate, people want their work to matter. If your leaders connect day-to-day work to something bigger, whether it's innovation, social impact, or environmental responsibility, they'll attract people who want to make a difference. Where many get it wrong. Too many businesses still treat employer branding like a marketing strategy when it should be an operating principle. They roll out flashy EVP statements, update their Glassdoor page, and expect results. But if there's no follow-through, leadership consistency, or substance behind the brand, it all falls flat. Candidates want alignment. If your job ad says career progression, but your internal mobility is broken, they'll see the disconnect. If you say flexibility, but managers penalize flexible workers in performance reviews, they'll walk away. This isn't about being perfect. It's about authenticity and ensuring your leadership actions match your brand promises. A leadership-led approach that actually works. Organizations that attract and retain great people don't just look good on the outside, they feel good on the inside. Why? Because their leadership is aligned, intentional, and invested in people. Here's how to build that kind of brand. 1. Start with your leaders. Coach them to understand their impact. Equip them to be visible, consistent, and aligned in how they communicate culture and values. A single leader can undo months of branding work, or they can become your greatest talent magnet. 2. Make career development a leadership priority. Get rid of the idea that L&D is an HR job. It's a leadership responsibility. Whether mentoring, seconding, or structured career mapping, leaders should proactively grow their people. 3rd, showcase real employee stories. Not the polished, overly produced ones, but genuine human ones that show how people have grown, overcome setbacks, or been supported through change. Leadership should amplify these stories, not as PR, but as culture in action. 4. Build a hiring experience that reflects your values. The candidate journey is your brand in motion. If the process is confusing, slow, or transactional, candidates will assume that's what working with you will be like. Make it respectful, transparent, and human. 5. Measure what matters. Don't just track engagement scores. Look at promotion data, exit feedback, and diversity metrics. Share progress with your people. Make leadership accountable for how the culture actually feels. What this looks like in practice. Imagine this. A candidate visits your website. They see your values, then scroll LinkedIn and see your CEO passionately discussing the business's purpose. They read posts from your managers recognizing team achievements. They see an open, inclusive culture reflected in your content, not just slogans, but stories. They apply for a role. The job ad is transparent and inclusive. The interview panel is diverse. The questions are thoughtful. They're told what to expect next and receive a personalized response. Whether they're hired or not, they accept the offer. From day one, their manager talks about growth. They're introduced to mentors, they feel seen, and they understand how their work connects to a broader purpose. They stay. They refer their friends. They become your biggest advocates. That's leadership-led branding, and it's what the best employers are already doing. Final thought, you don't need to be perfect. You need to be consistent. People aren't asking for flawless leadership. They're asking for honest, human, visible leaders who care about creating a place worth working for. If you want to attract and retain top talent in 2025, stop thinking of employer branding as a brochure and think of it as a mirror. It reflects what your leaders value, how your culture really works, and how people are treated every day. Develop internally. Start with leadership. Make it real, and the right people will come and stay.